Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Miftah Ummi Hanifa and I'm from IPSC 2017. And today actually I will explain you about biology subject which is human nutrition. But during this pandemic, I believe some of you feel bored, right? Because you need to studying at home and also work at home and do everything in your home. But hopefully with this video, with my explanation, you can study more fun and more enjoyable. Okay? So without any further ado, let's just discuss it now. Before we jump to our materials today, I wanna ask you first. So, have you eat your food this day? Yeah, during this Ramadan, I believe some of you, already took your sahur, right? And maybe some of you also already took your breakfast, isn't it? But, what is that? There is the sound coming from this little boy. And this little boy feels so hungry. And you know that during this Ramadan also, sometimes we feel hungry in this afternoon. But that is normal because the lunch is for our energy, right? Now imagine that this is the time for you to break your fasting. So what kind of food that you will eat? So like bala-bala, right? And then satay, meatball, and everything. So do you think is it good for you? If we eat any kind of food, with the huge amount, it will make you fat like this man. Why it is happen? Because if you realize he always consuming the food without consider the nutrition. So how to solve it if we are facing this problem? So you see here there is a red lady and a yellow lady. So even though they are they eat the same amount of food, but the red lady has a fat body compared to the yellow body, right? And after that, why it can be happen? Because if you realize the red lady is only consuming mostly carbo and fats, while the yellow lady, she consume any kind of food with imbalance, that is good for our health or for the healthy. That's why she has a slim body. And after that, so what is the balanced diet actually? So balanced diet, it is when we eating the food which is containing enough carbohydrates, the fats, protein, and also containing the vitamins, minerals, and water. So everything should be in balance. But that a balanced diet is actually not only for the skinny people or the one who on diet programs, but balanced diet is for everyone. So now, do you think the nutritional needs of each individual will be the same? The answer is no, of course not. Why? Because a person's dietary are affected by several requirements. So the first one is by your age, the second one is gender, and the third one is activities. So see this one, there is an old lady and a young man. So the old lady, if you compare their movement, is much lower than young man, right? And also this is affected to your energy requirements, and energy here is gained by your food, something like that. So that's why we can conclude that an old people is use less energy than young people. And then the second one here, there is that a female use less energy than a male. Why? Because there are two facts. The first one is females has a lower body mass, and the second one is female lower demand of energy. So that's why the requirement of male using energy is greater than female. But that is also possible for female using many energy, but that's because of their activities. So the third one is activities. You know that it's very obvious that the more you have activities, the more energy you need, right? So I think you also know it well. Okay, so next there are several food nutrients. The first one is carbohydrates, protein, fat, water, vitamins, and minerals. So we will explain it one by one. So the first one is carbohydrates. So the function of carbohydrate is used as a main source of our body. Do you know what is the main food of Indonesian people that always they consume? Yes, that is rice. So you can compare when you are eating rice and then not the strength of your body will be different, right? Because rice is a carbohydrate which is produced as a main source of our body. And then the second one is reserved food materials. And then where we can find a carbohydrates. And actually there are two types of carbohydrates. The first one is complex carbohydrates, means that our body takes time to digest it. The example is cellulose and the starch, which is you can find on wheat, vegetable and nuts, and the starch is potato. And the second one is simple carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates means our body can easily digest it. The example is sugar, like fruits, honey, and milk. You can see here. But maybe you got confused why fruits is included to the simple carbohydrate, right? It is because remember that one kind of food is not only containing one nutrition, but also many kind of nutrients. Because if you realize that fruit is not only containing vitamins, right? Even though it's known well with rich vitamin. If you take a look that fruits containing some water and also containing the sweetness if you eat it, right? It is because the sweetness is coming from sugar, and sugar is a simple carbohydrate. Okay. And then the next one is protein. The function is for your growth, tissue repair, producing enzymes, and the antibody forming. So the sources you can find from animal and the plant proteins. So an animal like a meat, fish, egg, milk, and cheese. While for the plant you can find on the beans. The third one we have fat. The function is simply say it is for reserve of food materials, and the next one is for the protecting the body from low temperatures. So maybe you might or you have ever about the obese people is more susceptible to cold compared with the skinny people. You know why? Because they have more fat on their body. And where we can find the fat is actually divided into two types. The first one is unsaturated fats and saturated fats. So unsaturated fats, actually the forming is the liquid forms on the room temperature, while for saturated fats it is a solid forms in the room temperature. And the example is vegetable oils, and for saturated like meat, milk, cheese, and oils, something like that. And then the next one we have vitamins. The function is to regulate bodily functions, and the second one is to prevent from several diseases. And the types is actually divided into two again. The first one is dissolved in the water, which is vitamin C and D, and dissolved in fat is vitamin A, D, and K. And here also I already put the table, which is represent the name of vitamins and also the function and the sources. So you can, but I only put one well-known of function of these vitamins. But if you find furthermore, there are more than one function of each vitamins. And so example is a vitamin A, the function for promotes good eyesight, you can find from your carrots and a pumpkin. For vitamin B, it's used for regulate bodily function. Vitamin C prevents scurvy, vitamin D prevents the rickets, vitamin E as an antioxidant, and K to help the blood clotting. The next one we have a mineral. So the function is the first, the process of building cells, and the next one is helping the body's chemical reaction, lifting oxygen throughout the body, and bone formation and maintenance. The sources coming from animals and vegetables, which is you can find on meat, fish, egg, milk, and cheese, while for vegetable you can find on any kind of beans. Let's just take one example from meat. So meat is actually not only containing one minerals, but also like phosphor, sodium, and also iron, something like that. So you can see now that one kind of food is not only containing one nutrients, but also containing any kind of minerals. And then there's the next one is the water. The function is a forming cells and a body fluids, regulating the body temperature and solvent of other nutrients, assisting the process of digestion of food, and transportation media and a media for removing the metabolic waste. The sources can coming from the fresh fruit, the vegetable, and etc. So if you take a look to the left picture here, around 72% of the human body composed by water. So you know that we can live without eating food around 2 until 3 days, but not with water, because most of our body is containing water. And then this is one of evidence that one kind of food not only containing one nutrients, like you can see there is in milk there is a vitamin and also a fat and also protein, carbohydrate and minerals and everything. And then the next one is how to determine the nutrition of a food. I have information for you. The name is the testing food nutrients. So for example, you want to test a starch on your food, you can use a reagent as an indicator by using alugol or iodide. And if it is positive containing starch, the color will change in dark blue or black. And if you want to test a blood sugar, you can use a Benedict. If you want to test the protein, you can use burette. And if you want to test the fat, you can use ethanol. For better understanding, actually I have provide the video for you. This is the experiment you can conduct in your class, but during this pandemic I will only show the video for you now. So the name is testing for biological molecule, and here there are several kind of solution that we will use. And what we are going to do is testing whether it is containing starch, protein, fat, reducing sugar, and also vitamin C. These are the reagent that we will use. And then the first one we will use iodine test, which is using for the starch. And the procedure is you only need to drop several iodine into your solutions. Yep, you can see here there is a color changes right inside the starch. So means that this starch is very clear that it contains the starch, because the color is dark blue into black. And then the next one we have a burette, which is for testing the proteins. The same procedure, only to drop the burettes into your solution. And see the color changes? Yeah, you can see from the egg white it is very different with others, right? And the color is around purple or lilac. Yes, and that is the indicator for the proteins. And next we will test with the Benedict, which is for the reducing sugars. Yes, the same procedure. And actually he named the test tube because he will put into the beaker with the hot water. Yes, and then he put it, and we need to wait for several times to see the changes. You see there is a color changes in fruit juice. Yeah, and the indicators is actually there is a green on the top and coming to yellow, and on the bottom it is a brick red. And then next we will test about the fat. Yes, which is we will use ethanol. And the same procedure, we only drop the ethanol to the solution. Yeah, around 2 centimeter cubic. And also for fat we add some water on it. We observe the color changes, and you see in the oil there is a white emulsion. So the white emulsion is indicate the oil is containing the fat. So that is for the experiment. And actually we are in the end of our materials. So after you learn about the human nutrition, please take this quiz. And you can access the quiz using this barcode or the links, which is gg.gg/human nutrition. Please do your best and hopefully you will get a good score.
Okay, now before we end up this lesson, let's summarize our materials today. For the first one, do you still remember about balanced diet? Yep, balanced diet is when we're consuming the food within balance. Means it has enough carbohydrates, fats, protein, vitamins, minerals, and water. And the second one, food nutrition, consists of carbohydrates, protein, fat, vitamins, and mineral. And each nutrition has their own function, like I already explained before. And the third one, person dietary are affected by their age, gender, and activities. And the last, we can do testing to the food nutrition, like testing the starch using Lugol, sugar using Benedict, testing the protein using Biret, and the last, testing the fat using ethanol emulsion. After we learn about this human nutrition, actually we will discuss another topic, which is digestive system. And here we will learn about how we digest our food nutrition inside our body, like starting from the mouth until the anus. So, always stay tuned to my video for other topics, and I think that's all for today. Hopefully this video will help you to understand this topic. If you have any question or you want to ask to me, you can contact me to my email. And thank you. See you next time with a new topic. Bye.